Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
Passed the Inflation Reduction Act.
Make inflation actually even worse.
Historic investment to climate change.
Raise taxes and increase spending.
They say you're raising taxes on everybody. Bull.
Declaring a public health emergency on monkeypox.
Cases doubling roughly every week.
July employment report. 528,000, double the expectations.
Brittany Griner.
Prisoner swap.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in. It is News and Views for a Friday. We'll talk politics, but we're going to do some fun stuff too. As you know, next week Greenville is hosting the Girls Little League Softball World Series. We're going to be talking in a little bit to Brian Booth, who's one of the coaches of the Pitt County team, because indeed the Pitt County girls softball will be represented. They won the state title, and they've got a team. They'll be in it. Right now, though, we've got Scooter Rogers. Some call him Scott Rogers, but if you're a Little League aficionado, you call him Scooter. He's also the voice of the ECU Pirates we were talking about before. Welcome in. Good to have you with us, Scott.
Thanks for having me on.
Great job this year.
Thank
on the
you.
ECU baseball. You just hit it out of the park. That had to be a lot of fun, and it had to be a little nerve-wracking when you first started.
Absolutely, and it was a blast this season. Growing up a fan of East Carolina and living in Greenville my whole life, when I got that job, it was almost like a dream come
pinching
true.
yourself. Oh, you had to be.
Absolutely, I was.
Had to be. I mean, you're a baseball guy, and played ball yourself growing up, and that's. I mean, for a lot of folks, that's like make it into the majors. I mean,
oh yeah, and for me being just turning 22 years old and still being a student at East Carolina, to say you're the voice of a perennial top 25 program year in and year out is pretty special.
Yeah. Is your plan to be there next year again?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
So
I
we'll
would think the folks that hired you have got to be well pleased. Great job.
Yep.
Great job. So let's talk Little League girls softball coming to Greenville. You're actually going to be the media coordinator, you're telling me.
Yes.
So you will be very involved in it. You're going to do some PA for the games over at Elm Street Park. How many teams we got coming in?
We have 12 teams overall. We'll have 8 from the United States and 4 international teams.
Okay. And the kids are going to be staying at the dorms. In fact, I think they've already put them over the dorms, didn't they? They entered into the dorms today.
Most of the teams have arrived so far. I think we got about 3 or 4 that should be on the way here right now, but most of the teams have already arrived in Greenville.
So how will this tournament work? Is it a pool play, elimination?
This is the first year of a modified double elimination format. It's been a pool play tournament for the past few years, and this year with the expanded field, it moves into that modified double elimination format, which basically means it's normal double elimination until you get to the championship game, and it's winner take all.
So if you have one team that's got one loss and one team that does not have a loss, it doesn't matter.
Does not matter. Yes, sir.
You start over again.
Correct.
And it's just a one-game
correct
championship game. Was it a surprise that the Greenville team made it in? This is, their second year as a Little League? Because Sarah Law was, in fact, my daughters played Sarah Law years ago, and it was Babe Ruth,
Mm-hmm.
and I assume they made the switch. I mean, because we are hosting the Little League World Series,
right? And they that's pretty much why they did. Be able to have with the North Carolina state champion getting an automatic bid every single year to this. It was kind of a no-brainer to say, hey, all you got to do is win the state of North Carolina and you're in. And so I think when they kind of saw that, they said, hey, we need to switch. And I think it's been a great move for them, and right now it's paying off for them to be able to play in this this year, and it's going to be awesome having them in it, and just to have not only them in it, but for them to play against international teams, I think is really a cool part, and already being around some of the international teams doing some pre-tournament stuff, it's been awesome to be around that culture.
Has ESPN arrived yet? Or they?
ESPN will get here Sunday morning when they'll start setting up on Monday.
Now, I guess it might have been partly because we were still coming out of COVID, but last year I was under the impression that a lot of the ESPN play-by-play folks were not on location. They were somewhere else just watching the monitors and doing. Is there going to be somebody in town for these, do you know?
Yes, they were actually in town last year. I think we were one of the very few sites that actually had announcers on site, but they will be on site again this year, which is, being a play-by-play guy for radio, it's tough doing games remote, so I'm glad they will be on site.
I would think. So being in charge of the media, my thought and again, you're working with some folks from the Little League, but once the series, the tournament starts, you're going to be the guy that's sort of coordinating the media. Are you planning for a big crowd? I mean, I would think you're going to have media from literally all over the world.
Yeah, we got a good amount of media that is credentialed already right now, so it's going to have very good coverage, not only just from the ESPN purpose, but I know the team from Maryland's got a good amount of media coming down, and so just to have that says a lot about how big this tournament is, and, there's a ton of local media that's going to be covering it too, and, obviously the more coverage, the better, and so that's cool to give these girls that experience.
I would think, and if any of our listeners went to the games last year, it was a lot of fun. I would encourage you to come. Now, a lot of people think that means they got to walk like 6 blocks to get to the stadium. There's designated parking, and boy, they were great last year. They had numerous golf carts, these extended golf carts riding you back and forth to your car. The atmosphere was great. I would think, though, this year, we're out of COVID. We've got the international teams coming in, and Greenville has their own team in it. I mean, we've got an Eastern Carolina team in it. I would think you're going to really have a full house when the Pitt County girls are playing against some of these other teams.
Yeah, and that's pretty much exactly what we expect. Not only just for their games as well, but for every game we're expecting really good crowds. And, not having any crowd restrictions this year is going to be nice to have. That way we can really promote this and get people to come out. But, like you said, parking, the main parking lot that we have is the College Hill lot, which is right at the bottom of College Hill, just off of 10th Street, and it's a short 5-minute walk from there down the Greenway through the woods, and you're right there at Elm Street when you get out. And like you said, golf carts too will help some people get there as well. But the city of Greenville has been great in terms of planning for this all year, and not just this year but last year too. And so taking off some of the things that we saw last year, hey, what can we improve? And being able to do that has helped us really put forward a good plan for this year's tournament.
Any clue as to how many folks will show up for this event?
With you having 2 kids or 2 grandsons in Little League this year, you know how big crowds can get. But I would say, maybe a little bit more than what we would have for a city championship crowd, which for those who don't know, our city championship crowds are, probably
standing room only.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would think a little bit more than that, and maybe even more for some of those Pitt County games.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what this does for the economy. I would think not just Greenville, but I think all these surrounding towns, Washington, Kinston, New Bern, all the different areas, Wilson, I am sure their hotels are going to be filled to capacity, I would think.
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
restaurants as well.
Yeah, and I'm talking with Andrew Schmidt with the Convention and Visitors Bureau. He's already said that hotel rooms have been booked a lot, pretty much all over town for this, and that's great. Like you said, for the local economy, the local restaurants are going to be loving this at night times with the players' families in town. And I know last year, I believe it brought in right at $1 million in terms of economic revenue for the town, and not having any COVID restrictions this year in a full tournament field, that's even going to get bigger, I'm sure.
And it was a lot of fun last year. We went to a couple of the games and just meeting folks. We met some folks from different parts of the country, and it was just a lot of fun. And you get to play host, and you get to show them some good Southern hospitality. It was a lot of fun. I hope folks come out. Let's talk real quick about Williamsport, because the big thing coming up on your calendar after the girls' softball, that's a big thing. But then the guys play up in Williamsport. And because of your connection with last year's girls' softball Little League, you've made some connections, and you're going to have an opportunity to do some PA announcement, which you've done numerous times for Little League here. And, of course, you're going to do it for the girls' softball, but get to go up in Williamsport and do it.
Yeah, it's that's another thing. Just like the ECU job, to pinch me to make sure I'm still alive and really doing this. But I'll have 4 games on PA up in Williamsport. I got 2 and 2 American games and 2 international games while I'm up there. I'll be up there for a full week, so that's going to be really cool to be able to do that.
Now, I guess they play this week, is it this week or next week they play down in Warner Robins?
They are playing right now.
Oh, they
down
are?
at Warner Robins, yep. They started yesterday.
It'll be interesting. Do you know how the Durham team did?
They hit a walk-off home run to win an extra innings today to avoid elimination.
Wow.
Yep, so, but yeah, they're in day 2 down there, and that tournament's driving along just as pretty much all the other regional sites, I believe, are getting started tomorrow.
I'm telling you, keep your eye on the Durham team. My older grandson played them in the state regionals or the state playoffs, and boy, they're good and they are big. I mean, they had some 12-year-olds on the team that I think were as big as I am. I mean, they got a good ball club. I would not be surprised to see them win that regional.
Yeah, and Bull City's a tradition-rich league in this state, and like you said, it wouldn't surprise me if they do come out champions of the Southeast this year.
Well, congratulations again on a great year at ECU doing the play-by-play, and thank you for your involvement in the Girls Little League, and congratulations on the Williamsport deal. That's a lot of fun, and we won't hear you doing the play-by-play on the TV, but we'll hear you in the background as we were watching the Little League World Series, probably both for the girls, and they'll be on ESPN Plus, and I guess as we get towards the final games, it'll be on ESPN or ESPN2.
Every game's on an ESPN platform, and everything's on ESPN Plus, and I believe it's the final 8 games that will be on linear networks. So that's either ESPN, ESPN2, or ESPNU, I believe.
Yeah, great, good deal. Hey, thanks for stopping in.
Yes,
we
sir.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yes, sir. Hey, listen, stay with us because we got more coming up. We got more baseball coming up. We'll get to some politics as well. We'll be right back.
The Greenville Toyota Advantage has just gotten even better with the new Pre-Order Advantage. Simply pre-order the Toyota you want, then lock in today's rate or payment, and we'll honor it for 90 days. It's the Pre-Order Advantage at Greenville Toyota.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
You know that moment when you realize your hair color is way past its prime? Or that you need a change and you hope it comes in the form of perfectly sun-kissed highlights? And at Fantastic Sam's, we offer real salon services at real people prices. Our color specialists can do it all. They make grays disappear, layer in subtle highlights, or help you finally find that perfect shade of red. All for real reasonable prices.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville, do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi. Get to Greenville Toyota, where our trade buyout is still going strong. We're still out to buy more trades, and we're still going to give you our best offer. Then use that cash to trade in for a new Toyota and get our Greenville Advantage. Don't miss the trade buyout at Greenville Toyota.
This is your Drive at 5 and ENC with Tom Lamprecht. Welcome back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back again. News and Views for a Friday. Quick look at your weather forecast. A few clouds tonight, possibly a thunderstorm, a low of 73. Sunshine and clouds mixed tomorrow with a high of 94. Again, tomorrow night, a few clouds with a low of 73. Partly cloudy skies on Sunday with a high of 92, and some clouds might give way to clearing conditions Sunday night with a low 73. So, again, the weather forecast pretty much carbon copy. Now through next Tuesday, Wednesday, we've got a chance of some more severe thunderstorms. So it was 161 years ago, 1861, Abraham Lincoln signed the first federal income tax into law, a 3% tax that was applied to all incomes over $800. And, of course, that was because of the war between the states, the Civil War, and it was rescinded after the Civil War. But, man, 3% sounds pretty good, right? If we could only have that now. Wait for more taxes, though, because Kirsten Sinema has come out and said, has come out and said that she will sign on to the Inflation Reduction Act. What a joke that is. Kirsten Sinema has raked in significant amounts of campaign cash from the private equity sector, which notched a victory after she lobbied to remove a billionaire tax loophole from the Inflation Reduction Tax as a part of her agreement to back the legislation. The Arizona Democrat announced yesterday she would move forward in supporting the Inflation Reduction Act, the reconciliation package Senate Democrats unveiled last week. I mean, this is unbelievable. They unveil it last week and they're going to vote on it. Nobody's even read it. I guarantee you nobody's read it. So they're going to, she said she'd agree with it if they would get rid of this loophole. And I thought these libs were all about equity, helping the poor. Tax the rich, pay your fair share. Guess not. We've agreed to remove the carried interest tax provision, protect advanced manufacturing, and boost our clean energy in the Senate's budget reconciliation legislation, Sinema said late Thursday. Subject to the parliamentarian review, I'll move forward. Sinema, this is a win for the private equity sector, which pours large amounts of cash into Democrats. In fact, Kirsten Sinema, I think, has got the fourth highest contributions in her war chest, her campaign war chest, from the private equity sector. In other words, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. The spending package includes tax increases on billion-dollar corporations. Well, I mean, aren't most of these corporations in the billion-dollar range anyway? So in other words, pretty much, you can pretty much say that corporate income tax for these large corporations is going to go up, which means the cost of everything is going to go up. It's just going to add to inflation. I mean, again, don't believe when somebody like, Kirsten Sinema or Joe Manchin or Chucky Schumer tells you, oh, it's just, nobody's got to pay anything. It'll just be the corporations. Well, people own stock. People own the corporations, and the corporations will recoup whatever they get charged by charging more for the goods and services. And in other words, the people that are barely making it now, it's going to be even harder for them to make it. Manchin claims that reconciling with Democrats on this package will help the country fight inflation. Yet, the Ben Wharton budget model now says, no, not so fast. If signed into law, the Inflation Reduction Act could result in the exact opposite of what its name suggests, as it is estimated to slightly increase inflation over the next 2 years, according to the Penn Wharton study. Can't make it up. Very, very disappointing. Now, Republicans have said they're going to try to bog this thing down. Of course, the question is, are they going to have, how long is it going to be before all the Democrats, all the old goat Democrats are COVID-free? It's interesting. Joe is not COVID-free still. Biden's personal doctor has not met with reporters. He sent a letter that the press secretary read saying the president continues to feel very well. His cough is almost completely resolved. His temperature, pulse, blood pressure, respiratory rate, oxygen saturation, blah, 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 all remains clear. However, he did test positive again for the 7th day. And boy, there is so much confusion with this. If he is doing so well, it's been over 5 days. I thought 5 days you could go out in the public again, even if you test positive, is what they said. I guess not so with Joe. Joe had a slurring speech from the residence quarters out on the balcony, and he was in the shade, but he's wearing his sunglasses, which is, I found a little curious. I mean, was it that sunny there on the portico of the White House, which is, undercover? Or was he keeping something from the cameras? I mean, I don't know.
He is a sick puppy.
Good timing there, Clark. Oh, by the way, well, you know what? Let's do this. I'm gonna hold this one. Let's go ahead and take a break because we're scheduled to have if he can come out of the isolation of the dorm room where the teams are sequestered over on the ECU campus. We're scheduled to have Brian Booth, who's one of the coaches for the Pitt County girls softball team, on with us via the telephone because they're sequestered over in the dorms. So stay with us. We'll see if we can get Brian on the phone when we come back. And more news and views coming right up.
The Greenville Toyota Advantage has just gotten even better with the new Pre-Order Advantage. Simply pre-order the Toyota you want, then lock in today's rate or payment, and we'll honor it for 90 days. It's the Pre-Order Advantage at Greenville Toyota.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
You know that moment when you realize your hair color is way past its prime? Or that you need a change and you hope it comes in the form of perfectly sun-kissed highlights? And at Fantastic Sam's, we offer real salon services at real people prices. Our color specialists can do it all. They make grays disappear, layer in subtle highlights, or help you finally find that perfect shade of red. All for real reasonable prices.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best.
Everybody loves burgers.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Get to Greenville Toyota, where our trade buyout is still going strong. We're still out to buy more trades, and we're still going to give you our best offer. Then use that cash to trade in for a new Toyota and get our Greenville Advantage. Don't miss the trade buyout at Greenville Toyota.
Shotgun with your 5 o'clock drive.
Well, the drive home should be a delight.
This is Tom Lamprecht with more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back in. As we were talking with Scooter Rogers a few moments ago, next week Greenville will be hosting the Little League Softball World Series for the second time at Stallings Stadium at Elm Street Park. The North Carolina State champion is our own Pitt County girls softball. The 9 to 12-year-olds will compete as the winners of the host region. As Scooter said, North Carolina, the state gets, as the host state, gets to have a team in the competition. There'll be teams from Missouri, Maryland, Connecticut, Washington, Virginia, Texas, California, Philippines, Canada, Italy, and Puerto Rico, and, of course, Pitt County. A team from Winterville in the Sarah Law Girls Pitt County Softball League. One of the coaches of the championship team is Brian Booth. He's on the phone with us right now. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir.
So, Brian, we originally talked about you coming into the studio this afternoon, but basically you, along with all these other teams, have been in isolation over in the dorms of ECU. What's going on over there?
We had a practice this morning at 9 a.m. We went and ate at Tiebreakers where they fed the team, and we thanked them. And then we went home, changed showers, got on a bus at Sarah Law at 2:45, and we just got checked into the dorms and settled in and got everybody moved in.
Are all the teams in the same dorm, or are they spread out all over the campus?
All the teams in the same dorm.
Okay. Well, that'll be fun to have a little does everybody on a different floor? I mean, it's going to be interesting if you have a little competition there.
That's right.
So let's talk about the team that's representing North Carolina, the Pitt County girls softball. Now, it wasn't just because we're the host city that Greenville made it. You guys had to earn your way there. Tell us about that.
Yes, sir. We had to. This year they allowed the international teams, and we went to Rowan, Salisbury, played them. The North Carolina State champion got a free bid, straight bid to the World Series, and we beat Rowan. We're the North Carolina State champions. Therefore, we didn't have to play in the Southeast Regional in Georgia. Got a straight bid here to the World Series.
So, which team won the down in Georgia? Was that the Virginia team, the Southeast region?
The Virginia team, I think they beat Rowan 4-3.
Okay,
was a good game.
Okay, very good. So, tell us about the team. When my girls played years ago, it was pretty obvious back then that strong pitching meant you'd have a strong team. What are the biggest assets you've got on your team? And I would assume you're pretty competitive.
Yeah, I think we are. We are. Gentry Kyle, the manager, Emery Smith, the other coach, and myself. We coached a lot of these girls since they were probably 6 years old. We were careful who we chose, how we picked the team. The puzzle pieces fit together, and when they fit together, good things happen. And this team is capable of making some noise here at the World Series.
Well, obviously, you're going to make some noise, and there's going to be when the local team plays, there's going to be a lot of fans making some noise as well. Have you gotten a schedule yet of who you're going to play and when you're going to play?
We will play the West, which was Southern California that won the West Division. We will play them Tuesday at 4 p.m.
Okay. And
the winner of that, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, do you have any insight on that team?
That team it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a good game. We watched them play, and it's going to be a good game.
What happens now? There's going to be a 2-game elimination. So if you win, you stay in the winner's bracket, and I assume you would get some buys, or is that not the case? Or if you lose, you go in the loser bracket?
The winner of the game on Tuesday at 4 will play again Wednesday at 7, and then they will have Thursday off. If you lose Tuesday, we'll have Wednesday off and be in the bottom bracket coming back on Thursday.
Okay.
Fight.
Are the girls pretty pumped?
Oh, they're real excited. They got enough chocolate and sweets and stuff up there in the
dorm. They feel like they're being treated as royalty, do they?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
So what are the Pitt County colors? What are the host team colors?
Mainly black with blue.
Okay.
With all line of blue.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, great success to y'all. Congratulations on getting this far, and look forward to coming out Tuesday at 4. Now, the opening ceremonies, when do they take place? Is that on Monday?
That'll take place on Monday at 6:30 at the Town Commons.
Oh, is it the Town Common, not at Elm Street?
Yes, sir, and everybody's welcome.
All right. Put that on your calendars. You said 6:30?
Yes, sir, 6:30.
6:30 at the Greenville Town Common, and then the host team will play 4 o'clock on Tuesday. Brian, much success to you. Tell all the girls and the coaches we wish them well.
I will. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Brian Booth, who is one of the coaches of the Pitt County Girls Softball All-Star Team, taking on California, 4 o'clock on Tuesday. So, Clark, we've got to figure out how we're going to get down there on Tuesday. We're going to do a live program from Elm Street Park. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So, as I started to say before we went to Brian and we went to the break, Joe has still got COVID. This is our president who was bragging about how healthier he was than Donald Trump. And he's got COVID again. He had it, as you know, and then they gave him the all clear, and 2 days later he had it again, and it's been coming up testing positive for COVID like 7 days in a row. But what's interesting now is the Biden administration is now making a big deal about monkeypox. And in the United States, there are 6,000 confirmed cases, 6,600 confirmed cases across 48 states. And now the Biden administration has declared, or is going to declare, a public health emergency. Yeah. Sounds sort of reminiscent of 2 years ago, right around election time, doesn't it? Quote, in light of all these developments and the evolving circumstances on the ground, I want to make an announcement today that I will be declaring a public health emergency. Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra told reporters during a Thursday briefing, quote, we're prepared to take our response to the next level in addressing this virus, and we urge every American to take monkeypox seriously. Now, by the way, a lot of people say, well, what's monkeypox? Where did that come from? How did that develop? Monkeypox has been around for decades, but it has been in remission. We haven't had cases of monkeypox. I wonder what's going on that suddenly monkeypox is back on the scene. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. By the way, so he's saying we're going to take it real seriously. He goes on to say the public health emergency will allow us to explore additional strategies to get vaccines and treatments more quickly out to the impacted communities. Robert Fenton said, and it will allow us to get more data from the jurisdictions so we can effectively track and attack this outbreak. Once declared, a public health emergency remains in effect for either the duration of the emergency. Oh boy, doesn't this sound just scary, and it sounds very reminiscent of 2 years ago, or 90 days. But the HH secretary can extend it at will. You can extend it right through the next election. I mean, 90 days. So let's see, what would be? It's August, September, October, November. Well, that's about 90 days, right? Extended at will. Does that mean we're going to have to hand out ballots hand over fist, look the other way, as all kinds of irregularities come up at the ballot box? But hey, we got another emergency. Don't question anything. So I asked the question. Monkeypox has been around for decades. I think monkeypox. Now I haven't done a lot of study on this, but I think it first popped up back in the 1950s. There's another interesting story on the Gateway Pundit. Israeli COVID vaccine director who was, by the way, injured over the Pfizer vaccine. He is now suggesting, and by the way, this guy has got credentials. His name is physician and scientist Professor Shamel Shapira. He's a doctor, and he's the director of the Israeli Institute for Biological Research. Been done that for 8 years. He is, what else? He's got all kinds of accolades. he has come out and said, and he was very suspicious because a good friend of his son got the vaccine, and suddenly this healthy young man who was in his early 30s had heart failure shortly after he had the vaccine. This same director from Israel has begun to question, okay, why all of a sudden are we having monkeypox? And it's his assertion that, and not just with monkeypox, I mean, he's talking about all kinds of heart arrhythmia, 20% increase in strokes, herpes, tendinitis, women having excessive bleeding, monkeypox, long-term side effects. And he says, no worries, be happy. Everything's fine. He basically is saying all these situations that are popping up is related to the vaccines and the immunity problems that people are having. All kinds of stories. You hear all the time stories about people who have had cancer and were in remission for years and years and years, got the vaccination, and suddenly the cancer reappears. By the way, this guy put this on Twitter and social media, and guess what? He was immediately bumped off, kicked off. I mean, this guy has got all kinds of accolades, director of this, director of that, doctor, scientist, professor. And he is saying monkeypox is a result of the vaccine. And again, it's not that you take the vaccine and that gives you monkeypox, but people have immunity. And people had immunity against monkeypox, like a lot of other diseases that are suddenly popping back up. I mean, there are stories. Now, part of it could be from the fact that we have all kinds of illegals coming into our country. Our borders are wide open, and who knows what they're bringing in. But there's all kinds of stories about tuberculosis and polio reoccurring. This great vaccine ain't too great. 561-8255. Who'd you say we had? Ron from, is it New Bern? Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron. How are you, sir?
Doing, sir?
Good.
Very good, thank you. Yeah, you hit what I was going to tell you. The open borders, we don't know what that's going to bring us, whether it's dirty bombs or a resurgence in polio or all these diseases that are coming upon us. That man needs to pay for what he's done to this country. The open borders is a big part of it, and it just infuriates me to no end. You don't hear anybody really pursuing that. It's just like the sham 2020 election when they took that great man away from us, and nobody is addressing none of this stuff. But those open borders, really, we are yet to see what that's going to bring us.
Well, Vice President Cheney addressed it yesterday. Apparently, he's got a new ad out for his daughter, Liz, and he has come out and said, everybody knows that election was legitimate. He came out and said, there's not one Republican that actually believes that Donald Trump didn't legitimately lose. And I'm thinking, hello? There's a lot of us out here that don't think that was a legitimate election.
Yeah, well, you know, when the press is complicit in all this and they don't report this stuff and they just buried it and we're just victims of this whole mess that they have created, and I don't know how we're getting out of it. I don't trust elections until they have voter ID. I wouldn't trust another one thanks to 2020. And if you figure during the midterms, I think to take the House and Senate, no problem. A tsunami. If any single Democrat wins anywhere in the country, they cheated. I mean, without a doubt.
I wouldn't get in a debate with you on that. Now there are some House members that will be reelected because they're in districts that they can't possibly lose. I mean, Maxine Waters, Sheila Jackson Lee, and others. No matter what happens, they're not going to lose those districts. But any House race that is competitive, where either side has got a chance of winning. I would agree with you. If Republicans lose that, I would look long and hard at, okay, what hanky-panky took place this time.
Exactly.
Hey, thanks for the call, Ron. Do appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but listen, when Democrats come up and they start talking about, okay, we've got another emergency coming up. By the way, when Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra talked about him taking emergency actions, doing what they need to do to make sure that the monkeypox isn't spread any further, my question to him would have been, if I was a reporter at that get-together, I would have said, so, Secretary, we assume then you're going to shut down the San Francisco Kink Festival scheduled for September the 26th. No, but you are going to allow all kinds of absentee ballots to take place, ballot collection boxes. Anybody that wants to vote, just come on in. Why? Because we got monkeypox. Yeah, vote several times over. It's our cure for monkeypox. Can't make it up. Stay with us. News and Views continues right after this.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Empty lots at car dealers everywhere, except here. The selection you want is at Greenville Nissan. And during the Nissan Thrill of the Drive sales event, buy a new Nissan with financing as low as 0.9%. The versatile Nissan Rogue, the all-new Pathfinder, or gas-saving cars like Nissan Sentra and Altima. And yes, we have trucks. Buy the new Nissan Titan with 0.9% financing, or the all-new Frontier for $99 a month. Hurry to Greenville Nissan, where we drive to serve.
We're on location today at Fabric and Home Furnishings, Arlington Village on Arlington Boulevard here in Greenville. One of my favorite places in town, one of my favorite people in town. My buddy Lisa Pendry is here. And Lisa, when I walked in this morning, the place always looks great, but there's something new here. You got a brand new room. Tell us what's going on.
We do, Henry. We are opening a Norwalk gallery, and we are so excited because this company is so custom. Been in business since 1902, built in Norwalk, Ohio. Tons of wood colors to choose from, over 900 fabric choices, and I've got a design team that can make it fabulous and help you find unique styles.
So when you say custom, a custom furniture line, what does that mean exactly?
You can literally choose the cushion, the fabric. You can even choose the thread color with this company. So wood choices, amazing fabrics, put 3 fabrics on 1 sofa, as much fun as you want to have.
And that's what people want these days. They want it to be exactly the way they want it, so you can get that with Norwalk.
You can.
All right, what else is new? You've always got some other interesting things going on here.
Well, we have some new fabrics that have arrived, but I've also, in this new showroom, I've added a friend of mine that's opened a company in Hickory, North Carolina called Hickory Luxe. Done business with him for a long time, but we're adding to that because he can deliver in 6 to 8 weeks instead of 8 months like some of these companies are, doing right now.
And as we always say, Fabric and Home Furnishings is a furniture store and so much more. And the so much more is you guys offer design services. I know you're a designer yourself. You have a design team here, so you can offer that full service for people.
I do. I've got the best design team ever. We do commercial design and residential. And there's a lot of decisions that go into what you want your home to be. So we send somebody right out to the house for a flat one-time fee, not an hourly fee. And we analyze it, make a friend, and make it easy and painless and fabulous for people.
Fabric and Home Furnishings here in Arlington Village. My friend Lisa Pendry. It's a furniture store and so much more. Come see them.
Let's go, Brandon.
When we're not covering Brandon's heroics.
This Brandon, what does he play?
Well, Mr. President, they're not,
Folks, let's hear it for Brandon. What a job he's doing. Let's go, Brandon.
Now back to News and
Let's
Views
go.
on 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. Interesting story in the Federalist. You know, Liz Cheney is really trying to do her best to vilify Donald Trump, and she's trying to go out with a splash. By the way, she's still talking about running for the presidency in 2024. Good luck with that, Liz. Now, remember, Liz Cheney her constant theme has been Donald Trump failed to bring out the National Guard. And if he had brought out the National Guard, as he should have, then the January 6th situation would never have happened. Well, now because of some digging by Tristan Justin of the Federalist, it appears that Cheney herself perhaps orchestrated opposition to the use of the National Guard to quell election-related unrest, allegedly organizing a Washington Post op-ed on January the 3rd of 2021, signed by every living defense secretary. Quote, all 10 living former defense secretaries involving the military and election disputes would cross into dangerous territory, the headline read. It went on to threaten any military official who thought any use of military might be a good idea. Civilian and military officials who direct or carry out such measures would be accountable, including potentially facing criminal penalties for the grave consequences of their actions on our republic, the op-ed warned. The op-ed was allegedly organized by Cheney, whose father was Secretary of Defense under George H.W. Bush, before serving as George W. Bush's vice president. Eric Edelman, a national security advisor to Dick Cheney, told the New Yorker the Wyoming lawmaker was the one, talking of Liz, was the one who generated the piece for the Post. Now Cheney has adopted Trump's supposed inaction of the National Guard as a primary line of attack. On Fox News Sunday, Cheney again depicted Trump as an apathetic leader who dismissed pleas to deploy the National Guard while the Capitol was under siege. Quote, there are several witnesses who said they met with Donald Trump on January the 4th, said Brett Baer, and he offered some 20,000 National Guardsmen to protect the Capitol building on January the 6th, but the offer was rejected. Liz Cheney disputes that. Yeah. So Liz Cheney, and that's been her constant theme since this January 6th committee has started, that this was malfeasance by Donald Trump because he didn't call up the National Guard. And again, according to this individual, Eric Edelman, who was a national security advisor to Dick Cheney, he told the New Yorker that it was Liz Cheney who organized and generated this op-ed piece that was in the Washington Post, which was a condemnation of the idea of using the National Guard to protect our Capitol. By the way, we talked yesterday about the good news that Ron DeSantis announced he had suspended woke source back state attorney Andrew Warren after Warren's declaration that he would refuse to enforce any Florida laws restricting abortion or transgender surgeries for minors. Now, that was great news. Talked about that in detail yesterday. But it gets better. I mean, and you got to applaud Ron DeSantis for taking a stand, saying what he meant and doing, following it up. And he did follow it up because not only did he fire him, he then signed an executive order canning this guy, Andrew Warren, but also sending law enforcement, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, assisted by other law enforcement agencies as necessary, sent them over to Andrew Warren's office and allowed him to take his personal items, but no files, and escorted him out of the building, told him to leave, and don't come back. You got to love it. And so this was another source prosecutor that doesn't want to do their job. By the way, speaking of that, another source prosecutor and a liberal judge up in New York they are guilty of this next double crime. They ought to be responsible for it anyway. A Manhattan man accused of slashing a woman in Times Square was apparently arrested for a violent robbery just 3 days before this attack took place. He had been released without bail. It was late last month. 30-year-old Anthony Evans allegedly slashed an Asian woman with a box cutter in an unprovoked attack in Times Square. On Wednesday, prosecutors say the attack occurred after Evans was allowed to walk free following a violent robbery just days earlier, according to the New York Post. This is what you're going to get. When you get George Soros and these liberal woke prosecutors in there, that's exactly what you're going to get. The guy commits a crime, they let him go, turns around, and commits another crime, only this time the second crime was worse than the first. You're training them. You're training them to be violent. Unbelievable. Hey, we wish great success to the girls' county, the Pitt County girls softball team. We'll do it again next Monday. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Another rock and roll weekend.
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
What do you see when you imagine life on the coast? Is it salty or sweet? Is it refined or a bit wild? Perhaps it's the perfect combination of everything you ever dreamed of. This is the very best of living on the coast. Bow Coast.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Pasalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas. You got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville, same people that give you